Okay, it's the next day. I did not film anything after I got back from getting my grocery pickup. Target had actually closed their pickup yesterday, so I didn't end up getting a Target pickup. Just went to Publix. Funny enough, Curtis had gone to the store before that, and he didn't know I was making a grocery order. And so he got groceries. I thought he was just gonna go grab some other things. And so we have lots of food, I believe. I made a roast in the crock pot so that we could have like some warmish food if the power goes out, something a little bit better than just eating a bunch of canned foods or junk food, you know. So we'll probably have that today because by the time it was ready last night, it was too late. So we will have that today. And yeah, also, so funny. When I got up this morning, I was getting up like normal because every day I wake up at the same time, you know, that I do whenever I have to get ready for work, even when I'm not working. And so I was up just watching the weather and the news and all that. And I got a message from my friend from work, and she's like, "You working today?" I was like, "No, they activated the emergency team." And thinking to myself, I know she's on the same team as me. Why is she asking me this? And yeah, so those didn't go into effect until actually 1 p.m. So I rushed over there I was 45 minutes late because I just had no idea. I thought that we initiated our emergency teams. So I thought I was golden and off. Wasn't. Did a C-section and the recovery for that. Yeah, I had to go and do that. It is currently now Wednesday, the 27th. And so yeah, the rain is kind of off and on right now. I mean, you can't really see it at this moment, but it's starting. I think it's already started making landfall in Tampa at this point. So buckle up, because I think it's go time. Had a shower. Everyone has showered or bathed at this point. I wanted to make sure everybody got one last bath shower before everything started. I'd rather us not be, you know, a couple days into being funky, you know what I mean? So everyone has now showered and bathed. I have probably the last set of laundry getting ready to start. Another set of dishes going through the dishwasher so we can try and have as many things that are clean and don't need to be cleaned as possible. And then we have all of our electronics plugged in so that way we have them, hopefully they'll last for a little bit longer if the power goes out. And as well as our fuel rods, which, you know, we've used those for the theme parks for a while. They're great. So we're charging those up too to give us a little bit of extra life as well if we need to charge so that we can contact our family and things like that. All of our electronics are charging or on the charger. And when I went to Walmart yesterday, I went there looking for charcoal and some flashlights. There were neither left. I couldn't find either one of those things anywhere. They had just gotten a fresh shipment of water though, so that was good for those that rely on bottled water throughout the storms. But I'm actually, as soon as all of our water bottles are clean, I am going to fill all of those up with water instead of, like, we have one case of water, just, you know, just to have one case, just in case. But I'm gonna fill up all of our water bottles. You know, we have 3 hydro jugs, which are, I have 2 half gallons and 1 gallon. And then we have a bunch of, you know, our simple modern and those different kinds of water bottles. So I need to do that still. And then I have a couple of like thin steaks that I had planned to grill before everything got started, but then I got called into work today, or not called in, okay, wrong. I had to go to work today for a few hours. I'll probably just end up cooking those like in a pan on the stove so that we have different stuff. Like I said, I don't want to just spend the next couple of days eating junk food because then we're all going to feel miserable. So yeah, those are the things that we're doing, the things that I've done to get ready for the next couple of days, and hopefully it's not going to be that bad. I know we're like teetering on the category 5, which is a little bit more scary. Definitely haven't gone through a cat 5 hurricane, especially as an adult. I think Hurricane Hugo in South Carolina is the largest and most dangerous hurricane that I've ever gone through, but I was only 2, I believe. So our apartment complex also required everybody, well, really they requested everybody bring in all of their things from their patios, but we have put all of our we put our chairs on the sides, brought the cushions in, and then I need to pull the string of lights down. That is all set and ready. And Curtis took all of our trash that was still in here and took it over to the dump, all the cardboard and things like that. Went ahead and took that over to the dump because obviously we won't be having trash pickup, and we can't sit here with garbage in our apartment, especially if the air goes out. No, that will not work. Also, we have some shows and movies downloaded onto our devices, like through Netflix and things like that, to also help with some entertainment for mostly Lane. But yeah, and I got her quite a few new things from Amazon that I ended up giving her yesterday, and then was thinking this morning, I cannot believe I didn't give it to her like one day at a time. Like when she got bored with one thing, give her another one, another new thing, because I can just tell being trapped in this tiny 2-bedroom apartment for a couple of days with her specifically is about to be rough. So she got some things, and the other kids got a few things to try to keep them occupied for the next couple of days. So it's about 6:30 now, and the wind is definitely starting to pick up. I just took about an 1.5 hour nap. I don't know if it's like the pressure changes or the lack of caffeine that I had today, but I am having the worst headache right now. So I took some Motrin for that. Lane is still taking a nap. We napped together, and I believe Kurt is still taking a nap. The other kids are occupied, and it seems like things are starting to pick up. Just crazy. I think I just saw some footage from over on the Gulf Coast, and it's pretty crazy. I think the last time I was watching the news, it was saying that it's gonna, you know, supposedly go down to a category 1 hurricane by the time it gets up here, like the eye gets up here to Orlando. So we'll see about that. The wind is like pretty crazy right now.
When a super warning alert is taking place, and because they're battery operated, you lose power, and most of us, maybe, past the other. And then we are teaming up with Magic 107.
1 hour later, the fire alarm is off. I just want to know how much longer we have until the next time it goes off. It is quite maddening to hear that alarm for an hour straight. It's been on and off like that all day long, and it's really driving me crazy. Good morning. It is now about 10 o'clock on Thursday morning. The majority of the storm has already passed over us. We're kind of getting those last little bands of wind and rain, which is really loud. It's still pretty windy, and I'm just so thankful that we did not lose any power at all. My thoughts are with all of those that did lose power because of the storm, but we did not lose any power during the entire night and the whole time that the storm's been going on. So now I'm just going to make some breakfast. So I'm waiting to hear when they activate the B team, because then I will have to go to work and give the A team a break. So still waiting to hear about that. I think probably it won't be until tomorrow, because we still kind of have those, like the back end of the storm coming through. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, we're gonna make some breakfast. Overall, I didn't see any damage. It doesn't look like there's any flooding in our apartment complex, so feeling pretty lucky. Something else I forgot to mention was I don't know if I mentioned it, maybe I did. I've been dealing with this headache pretty much non-stop. It feels like when this all started, and I don't know if it's lack of caffeine or barometric pressure. Perhaps that is not even a thing, but I took some Motrin last night and still woke up with a little bit of a headache, so I don't know what that's about. I'm just going to make some cinnamon rolls. I do a pan of bacon in the oven, but then I also use some bacon in the frying pan, because I will drain that out and use a little bit as the oil for the eggs. It's a southern thing maybe, and definitely not the healthiest, but that is what I do whenever I make eggs, typically. So I came out by the lake near where we live, and it definitely the water has risen a lot. So the eye has officially passed over us, but we're still getting lots of wind, some rain. It's not heavy rain, but we are still getting some. No flooding in the parking lot of our apartment, but the water has definitely risen, and our apartment complex dock is halfway underwater, which is crazy. Curtis already checked our cars for any damage. I don't really even see a whole lot of things that have flown about. No real debris anywhere. So no flooding. So I think we managed to make it out really with no real damage. We did it. We survived our first hurricane here in Orlando. It is a stunning day here. Okay, I had to switch over to my phone for a minute, but it is such a stunning day. It is now Friday, the day after pretty much the tail end of Hurricane Ian hit here in Orlando, and we survived our first hurricane threat here in Orlando. So with that being said, now I'm just thinking about my hometown in Charleston, South Carolina, who is going to be experiencing, I think it's predicted right now to be a Category 1 hurricane, because it did pick up a little bit of steam once it hit the Atlantic Ocean. And so I will definitely be thinking of them. It seems like lots of people from my hometown have already lost power, and I am just so thankful that we did not experience any power loss. We did not experience any damage or anything like that. And so incredibly grateful for that, because I do know, looking at all the footage and the images of Fort Myers, Florida, I mean, it's just wrecked. I read an article saying that they're looking at $20 to $30 billion in damages, and that is just so heartbreaking. And I cannot imagine really losing all of my possessions, losing lives. I mean, I don't think they even have a clear number of how many lives were lost, because they never had a mandatory evacuation, because everyone had thought the original path, it was going to hit Tampa the way that it hit Fort Myers. And so a lot of people believed that they didn't have to worry about the storm. And so that's so incredibly frightening and so sad. And I just really hope that everyone will be okay at some point after all of this. So now it's time for Team B, which was activated last night. I didn't film after a certain point because, you know, it just didn't happen. But Team B was activated last night, so our time to report to the hospital is at 12 o'clock today. But I think most of us are going to try to get there early to relieve Team A, which I'm sure is absolutely exhausted from being in the hospital for the last 2 days and not leaving, you know, and sleeping on air mattresses and things like that. So always thank the healthcare workers, the first responders, and everyone throughout these situations that made that sacrifice of leaving their families and staying in the hospital for days during these storms. And I know that back in my hospital in Charleston, they've initiated their emergency teams. If you didn't know, Charleston is at sea level, and so it very easily floods from a regular thunderstorm, you know. So we'll be thinking about all of them as well over the next couple of days. My parents actually, they didn't really evacuate, but they were going to a Clemson game anyway in upstate, so they are not in the path of the storm. But I am thinking about everyone that is going through this back at home. And so with that, this is the end of our Hurricane Ian adventure. I hope that you all are doing well, you're all safe, and thank you for anyone that sent out their love and support to the lovely state of Florida during all of this. I know there's lots of things that you can do to help out the areas that were most impacted. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.